You're listening to Speak English with Chat.
On Chat English. Welcome back to Chat English, where we practice the real conversations you need for everyday life. Today, we are going to fix the most isolating, uncomfortable mistake intermediate English speakers make in group settings. Picture this. You are at a loud dinner. Three native speakers burst out laughing at a joke. You have absolutely no idea what is funny, so you just force a fake smile and laugh too, hoping nobody notices you. I did this for years when I first moved abroad, sitting there laughing on the outside but feeling completely stupid and panicked on the inside, just praying nobody asked me a question about it. By the end of this episode, you will have 3 copy-paste phrases to confidently stop the conversation and get them to explain the joke to you without making it awkward. So let us start by unpacking that exact moment, that feeling of panic at the dinner table. Why do we instantly default to the fake laugh instead of just saying we did not hear it? It really comes down to a deep fear of standing out. When everyone else is laughing, your brain tells you that if you stop the conversation to ask a question, you are ruining the mood. You feel like you're the only one in the room who does not belong. Exactly. We convince ourselves that if we admit we missed the joke, people will think our English is terrible, or worse, they will be annoyed that they have to explain it. I remember being at a comedy club with some new friends from work. It was incredibly loud, the comedian was speaking fast, and my friends were roaring with laughter. I spent the entire 2 hours just watching their shoulders, and whenever their shoulders moved, I would force a laugh. It was exhausting, and I felt so incredibly lonely by the end of the night. That sounds miserable, but it's so relatable. I hear from learners all the time who say group conversations are their biggest fear for this exact reason. But what is the actual reality of those loud group settings? Are native speakers really catching every single word? Absolutely not. And that's the biggest myth we need to break today. The idea that fluency means 100% listening comprehension is just false. Native speakers mishear things, miss the punchline of jokes, and zone out all the time. Exactly. Think about being in a noisy restaurant. There's music playing, plates clinking, multiple conversations happening. Even in your native language, you do not hear every word. I actually had a huge realization about this a few years ago. I was at a pub in London, standing next to 2 guys who were born and raised there. One guy told a long story, the other guy started laughing, and then the first guy stopped and said, "Wait, why are you laughing? I was talking about my car breaking down." The second guy had completely misheard the story and was just fake laughing to be polite. That's incredible. So native speakers do the fake laugh too? Exactly. They do it because human beings naturally want to harmonize with the group. But the difference is, when a native speaker gets caught or when they realize they missed the joke, they do not feel shame about their language skills. They just casually ask for an explanation. That changes everything. So it's not a language problem, it's a mindset problem. We need the discipline to stop hiding and start owning our confusion. Exactly. It takes a lot of social confidence to admit you don't know something. When you stop the conversation to say you missed the joke, you actually project immense confidence. You're showing that you're comfortable enough in your own skin to ask for context. I love that reframe. Asking for an explanation is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of supreme social confidence. So, how do we actually do it? What's the natural way to admit we missed the point without sounding like a textbook? Well, the first thing I do when the group is laughing and I'm totally lost is I usually just smile, lean in, and say, "Wow, that went right over my head." Exactly. That went right over my head. It's such a brilliant casual phrase. It completely removes the tension. It really does. And the reason it works so well is because you're not apologizing for your English. You're just playfully admitting that the joke escaped you. Let's look at another scenario. Let's say you're in a casual meeting before the boss arrives, and your coworkers are joking about something that happened yesterday. You have no context. What's your go-to phrase there? In that situation, I'll usually let them laugh for a second, and then I'll say, I totally missed that. Someone clue me in. Exactly, clue me in. It sounds so much more natural than saying, please explain the humor to me. It's friendly, it's collaborative, and it actually invites people to bring you into the circle. People love explaining inside jokes. When you say, clue me in, you're giving them the stage to tell the funny story again. You're not bothering them, you're actually giving them a gift. That is such a crucial point. We assume we are a burden when we ask for explanations, but humans love sharing stories. Now, let us break these phrases down because there is some really interesting vocabulary and grammar hiding in there. Let us start with the phrase, that went right over my head.
This is one of my favorite idioms to teach because the visual is so clear. Imagine a joke is like a baseball being thrown to you. If you catch it, you understand the joke. But if it goes right over your head, it flew too high. You missed it completely.
Exactly. It is such a physical description of misunderstanding. And notice the proposition we are using there. We do not say it went above my head or it flew past my head. We use over. It went over my head.
Right, the preposition over gives the feeling of movement. The joke traveled across the space and went over you. You'll hear this phrase everywhere in daily English, whether it's a joke, a complicated math problem, or a confusing movie plot. You can just say, the ending of that movie went completely over my head.
That is a great real-world application. It's not just for jokes. If your boss is explaining a highly technical software update and you're lost, can you use it there?
You absolutely can, but with a slight adjustment to the tone. In a professional setting, you might soften it by saying, I have to admit, some of that technical language went a bit over my head. Could we review the second step? It shows humility without sounding incompetent.
Exactly. It's a fantastic tool for the workplace. If you are finding these mindset shifts and natural phrases helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss out on the real English you need for your daily life. Now, let us look at the second phrase you used earlier. You said, clue me in.
Yes, clue me in. This is such a warm, inviting phrase. Let's look at the word clue. A clue is a piece of evidence that helps a detective solve a mystery. When you ask someone to clue you in, you're playfully asking them to give you the missing pieces of the puzzle so you can understand the joke.
I love that emotional anchoring. You're inviting them to help you solve the mystery of why everyone is laughing. And again, look at the preposition, clue me in. Why do we use in?
We use in because you are asking to be brought inside the group. Right now, you're on the outside of the joke. By saying clue me in, you are saying bring me inside the circle of knowledge. It's a very inclusive preposition.
Exactly. We do not say clue me on or clue me about. It's always clue me in. Or you can expand it and say clue me in on the joke.
Both work perfectly. And learning these phrases is one thing, but knowing why we use them instead of textbook translations is what really builds your confidence.
That is so true. Textbook English can sometimes make these situations more awkward. Let's actually test this with our listeners right now. Let's play a quick game of best reply.
I love this game.
Okay, here's the scenario for you listening. You're at a cafe with three coworkers. One of them makes a joke about a famous television show that you have never seen. Everyone bursts out laughing. You need to stop the fake laughing and ask for context. Which of these three replies sounds the most natural and confident? Option A, I do not understand the humor in this conversation. Option B, please repeat the joke slowly. Option C, I totally missed that. Clue me in.
This is a great scenario. Let's break down why textbook English fails here. If you choose option A, I do not understand the humor in this conversation, you sound almost angry or robotic. It kills the lighthearted mood completely.
Exactly. It sounds like you're a robot analyzing human behavior. It's grammatically perfect, but socially very awkward. What about option B?
Option B is please repeat the joke slowly. This is a classic classroom phrase. The problem is, a joke is never funny the second time, especially if it's repeated slowly. Plus, it sounds like a command. It puts too much pressure on the person who told the joke.
Which leaves us with option C. I totally missed that. Clue me in.
Exactly. Option C is the winner. It's fast, it admits you missed the moment without making a big deal out of it, and the phrase clue me in keeps the energy fun and collaborative.
It's amazing how much power is held in just a few short words. By using idioms like over my head and clue me in, you're using the exact same tools native speakers use to navigate social confusion.
And that's the secret. Native speakers use idioms to soften awkwardness. Textbook English is too direct for moments of social embarrassment. Idioms give you a cushion to fall back on.
Let's talk about the delivery, because how you say these phrases is just as important as the words themselves. If I look terrified and whisper, that went over my head, it's not going to work, is it?
No, the delivery is everything. You have to pair these phrases with open, relaxed body language. You cannot look like you are apologizing for a crime.
Exactly. You are not apologizing.
Right. When the group is laughing, I like to smile a genuine smile, maybe let out a small chuckle at the fact that I am confused. Make eye contact with the person who told the joke and say in a bright voice, "Wow, I totally missed that. Clue me in."
I love that. You are matching their positive energy. You are not dragging the mood down with an apology. You are riding the wave of their laughter, just asking for a surfboard so you can join them.
That is a perfect way to describe it. You are riding the wave of their good mood. And I promise you, 9 times out of 10, the person who told the joke will be thrilled to turn to you and say, "Oh, I was just saying that my dog did this crazy thing yesterday." And boom, you're back in the conversation. No more fake laughing.
That brings so much relief. But knowing the theory is not enough. You have to build the muscle memory so these phrases come out automatically when you are feeling panicked.
Exactly. When you're sitting in that restaurant and the laughter erupts, your brain will freeze. You will not have time to search your memory for vocabulary. The words need to be ready on your tongue.
So let's build that muscle memory right now with our pause and reply simulator. For everyone listening, this is where you get to actively practice. We are going to play a simulation of a noisy restaurant.
I am going to be the coworker telling a joke, but I'm going to speak very fast and I'm going to mumble, so it will be impossible to understand me.
After Dan mumbles his joke, you will hear a group of people burst into laughter. That's your cue. We will pause for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, you must physically speak out loud to your screen. Do not just think the words, say them.
And we want you to use the phrase, "Wow, that went right over my head."
Are you ready? Picture yourself at the table. Your coworkers are looking at you, smiling. Here comes the joke.
Yeah, so I told the guy if you want the reports by Tuesday, you better find a time machine and a lot of coffee.
Oh my goodness, that is hilarious.
Okay, say it now. Wow, that went right over my head.
Excellent. How did that feel? Did you say it with a smile? Did you keep your voice bright and confident?
Let's do it one more time. This time, we are going to use the second phrase. I want you to say, "I totally missed that. Clue me in."
We'll change the scenario slightly. You're on a video call. It's Friday afternoon. Everyone is a little tired, but in a good mood.
I am going to make a joke about the weekend. Again, it will be fast and confusing. When the laughter hits, you have 3 seconds to speak out loud. Ready? Let's go to the video call.
Honestly, if this week gets any crazier, I'm gonna need a vacation for my weekend just to recover from the vacation I took last month.
That is so true.
Say it now.
I totally missed that. Clue me in.
Fantastic job. By physically practicing these phrases, you are rewiring your brain. You are replacing the instinct to fake laugh with the instinct to confidently ask for context.
Exactly. You are taking control of your English journey. You are no longer a passive listener hoping to survive a dinner party. You are an active participant who directs the flow of the conversation.
And that's what true fluency looks like. Fluency is not knowing every word in the dictionary. Fluency is having the tools to handle the moments when you don't know the words.
I really wish I had known this when I first started. I spent so many hours studying vocabulary lists, thinking that if I just memorized enough words, I would never feel confused at a party again.
We all fall into that trap. We think perfection is the goal.
Exactly, but perfection is a wall that blocks connection. When I finally started admitting when I didn't understand a joke, my relationships with native speakers got so much deeper. Vulnerability actually builds stronger friendships than fake perfection ever could.
That's incredibly profound. When you fake laugh, you're putting up a wall. You're keeping people at a distance. When you say, clue me in, you're opening a door and inviting them to connect with you.
It shifts the entire dynamic. You go from feeling like an imposter who is hiding a secret to just being a normal person having a normal conversation. The relief is unbelievable.
I want our listeners to really internalize that feeling of relief. You never have to fake laugh again. You have permission to be confused.
And you have the exact vocabulary to handle that confusion with style.
Let's review those three phrases one more time to lock them in. First, when you want to playfully admit the joke escaped you, you say, wow, that went right over my head.
Second, when you want to state clearly that you did not catch the context, you say, I totally missed that.
And third, when you want to invite the group to explain the funny moment to you, you say, clue me in.
A huge thank you to everyone practicing with us today. Remember, breaking these old habits takes a little bit of discipline, but every time you choose to speak up instead of hiding, your confidence grows.
Your challenge for the next 7 days is to completely ban the fake laugh. The next time you miss a joke or even just a casual comment, I want you to smile, use one of these phrases, and watch how happy people are to clue you in.
To pay you started, tell us about a time you struggled with this. Have you ever fake laughed in an English conversation? Tell us the story in the comments, or just write, yes, it went right over my head.
We love reading your stories. Thank you so much for joining us for another real-world practice session. If you want to master another tricky social situation, click the video on your screen right now to learn the polite pushback formula for the workplace. We will see you over there. Keep practicing and keep speaking up.